The simplest way to put it, I have problems.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Pain Management Podcast. It's your boy, Coach Silky, a.k.a. Roderick McDaniel, coming to you with another episode this week. And I got the host with the most right over here to my right, Jimmy Moynihan.
Hi.
I got Jimmy just hits his like, hi.
And our guest today is Bobby Jaycox.
Hello. We all just awkward intros all around.
Welcome to our new podcast, One Black Guy and Two Weirdos. It's a new show we're trying out. It's a new format.
Hey, you don't know if I'm a weirdo.
Yeah, it's coming through.
Yeah.
Well, here's how we're going to prove you are. Let's go back into this conversation about Taco Bell for breakfast.
Please, let's start with this.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we started, we were getting into a crazy conversation about had I ever had the breakfast at Taco Bell. And I was like, no. I've never upped that early to go get it.
Yeah.
But also, I agree with you. The idea of Taco Bell
Yeah.
at like 9 a.m.?
You do, because it's already like McDonald's already has like what they're going to make for you, and they've been doing it for years.
They got it down. Bacon, egg, and cheese bagel is one of my favorite fast food items. Having said that, I have had Taco Bell breakfast, and I went through a Taco Bell breakfast phase.
What?
And it's really good.
How'd you wean yourself off of that?
I had to. I was getting sick.
Would you wake up and get excited like to go? Ew,
Yeah,
you were like the guy from like was it Super Size Me, but for like Taco Bell?
Yeah. So and then I would have it at night. I mean Taco
You
Bell.
would eat it all day?
Oh, a lot of the time. 'Cause I didn't adjust the amount of Taco Bell I had based on that I got it for breakfast. But I mean, it's egg, potato, and bacon. It's just breakfast burritos.
No, I get it, but it's like I don't trust them to make it for me. It's like I wouldn't trust my grandma to like make me like empanadas or something. You know what I mean? Like there's certain things that you're like, I don't think you do that.
Well, you have to. Once you have it, you'll start. I mean, there wasn't a lot of. I trusted them. I trust Taco Bell.
You trust them?
I do.
Honestly, out of all of them, yes.
Yeah.
You're saying not even you looked like not even out of all of them. You're like, if I just like had to pick between like my best friend and Taco Bell, you're like, I have less trust issues with them.
I'll tell you what, this $7 Lux Craving Box that they have, I mean, I get it so much.
It does go hard to the paint.
You know, like, because I'll go to a show and do a show and hang out with people, and that's nice. But like this little moment that I have in my room with this box, and I know there's, when I'm done with
What's in the box?
What's in the box?
Yeah.
It's a 5-layer burrito.
No, you go ahead. They might be a sponsor one day. We need this.
I want to hear about it. No, it's like from the movie when he's like, "What's in the box?" What's that movie? Seven.
Yes. And it was a $7 box.
But yeah, I got to know what's in the box. And I like that you're explaining it. You're like, it's just me and my box.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Okay, so mental health podcast.
You're not going to gloss over that. You're going to
You
tell
have
me
to
what's
see
in that box.
Yeah.
You
You even said queso. I thought you were starting a list. You go queso.
Okay, so it's a 5-layer. It's a 5-layer burrito, which is there's meat and bean and cheese.
Yeah, I know the 5-layer beefy.
Yeah. And then they wrap it twice. In the inside of the wrap, there's nacho cheese. And
Okay.
it's a big, thick. It's a thick burrito. Got him fucking hard. And then they have a Doritos Locos taco, and then they have a chicken chalupa thing.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, and then you get a drink. So if you go like not too late, you can get an on-sweet iced tea. If not, you can get a Diet Pepsi. No big deal either way. And then
I'm a Baja Blast guy.
and then it comes with chips and nacho dip. So I know exactly how much cheese I need for the chips. I put the rest on the Doritos Locos tacos.
Dude, you are hard right now.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
You described that to me, and the only thing going through my head was I heard Genuine play it as you described it, like, you hardy, let's do it. He said, first there's a 5-layer.
And then the Taco Bell gong.
Yeah,
it was a whole thing going through my head.
Like, and if you go even early enough, they let you hang out with that old Chihuahua that used to be like the spokesman.
I would eat that too.
Oh, wow.
That's wild that you even know the times when they won't have it. Because how old are you?
Oh god.
You have to be in your 20s.
What? I'm 36.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You eat Taco Bell like this?
Yeah.
I'm 53.
But you just had intestinal problems.
Yeah,
And so
I almost
like
died.
that's
You're
you
like-
should have the problem. You should be having the pillow right here.
Yeah. I ain't here for a good time. I mean,
You can't even talk straight because of all the Taco Bell, dude.
I'm not here for a long time. I'm here for
my God.
disgusting.
I'm here for Liv Moss.
I gotta apologize to your family for that whole line. That is not from hanging out with me. That is Jimmy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm a destructive person and I stopped drinking and doing drugs, so I have to find
Right,
other
right,
ways
right.
to poison my body.
That does make sense.
And right now it's vaping and Taco Bell
Yeah.
and a dumb
They
amount
should
of
start
caffeine.
selling vapes. Yeah. And what?
Yeah, dumb amount of caffeine.
Yes.
I'll drink like 200. I'll drink 200 milligram Celsius on my way to work, and then I'll drink 2 yerba mates, which have 140 milligrams of caffeine in them,
What?
a day. And then before I go out to a show or at a show, if they had Red Bulls, I'll drink a Red Bull. So I mean, I need to get my shit together here.
Jimmy, I
Stop.
don't even
The
know if
word
you have
stop.
anxiety or if you just have too much caffeine in
Well, I
you.
Yeah.
have both, but
Are your eyes that pretty and blue, or is that just the amount of caffeine that you have in
I
them?
told you.
He's like, when I stop drinking, they're actually brown.
I wanted somebody else to say it about his eyes.
yeah. It's like I have anxiety today, but I also drank a double espresso and a Celsius.
Yeah, I'm a coffee guy, but I can't do the energy drinks. At night, I can do them. Like sometimes I'll do a Red Bull, like,
Yeah.
but no.
Oh, I have Celsius every time we're on the road.
I just had one. They're really
They're
good.
so good, dude.
And
Plus,
it makes you
they're
feel good,
easier.
all the vitamins they say, and you're like, I've been meaning to get that.
Yeah,
like,
and it
like-
feels so better coming down from
Yeah.
that than from a Red Bull. The crash is so much.
yeah.
It's a
Like,
little
this
better.
is a lot
Yeah.
easier to get
Well,
into.
there's
yeah.
no sugar, which is good.
Yeah. So
And I hate
love
whenever I'm
Celsius.
like, can I get a Red Bull? No sugar. They're like, we don't have it. I'm like, that's fine. I'm already treating my body
Yeah,
like
yeah.
shit. It doesn't matter how
Let me just
shitty I
take that
treat it.
sugar out to
No.
do one nice thing for my body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
So do you have anxiety?
I do have
Bobby?
anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have anxiety, but it's not like, I don't think it's like how other people have explained their anxiety. Like, I feel like all my stuff stems off of like my ADHD. So it's like, there'll be like moments of like anxiety, but it's
Yeah.
not like, no, like I don't really walk into a room and I'm like, does everyone hate me? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like because I had that when I was younger and I kind of just like, you kind of just shed it a little bit when you get older, but like,
Yeah.
I get anxious more than I think I have like
Anxious.
anxiety. You know what
Bit
I mean?
like situation
Yes,
based.
definitely situation based. And then because also it's
Yeah.
like my anxiety comes, I feel like from like people pleasing, like growing up. So it's like my anxiety isn't like based on like everyone else. It's me being like, how does everyone like see me or whatever. But once you kind of get over that, which I'm
Yeah.
not awesome at, but I care less. Because when someone walks in the room, you never think like, look at this fucking piece of shit. But I
No, you
think that
don't. Yeah.
everyone else sometimes you think is doing that. So then I just like started to give myself that freedom to be like, that's how you see other people. So that's probably how they see you. So
They're
I don't.
either
Yeah, it goes away.
indifferent or they're like, oh, okay, this guy's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
They're
No,
usually
I mean,
fighting their own demons when they walk in that room. They're not even thinking about us.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. No one's
so little thinking
it's like
about
a
us.
huge freedom is when you realize like people aren't really all thinking about you. And then whenever you hang out, it makes it way more fun too because everyone's more loose. Because if I've hung out with you ever hang out with your friends when they're not even being like they're just like,
Yeah, that's fine.
and you're like, it's cool, dude. We all
Yeah.
and they're like, all right, cool. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's like I feel like especially when you're in your 30s, I just want to like relax and enjoy my life, like for
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
So I feel like all the anxiety was in your 20s, and now I'm like, you learned those lessons. You don't need to keep being anxious. Like I
Yeah.
get way more anxious like figuring out how to put postage on a box like at the UPS store than I do like
Yeah.
in social like
Yeah.
situations or stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Adulting does make you anxious.
Oh my God. Yeah, I saw like a tweet the other day. It's like nothing like the overwhelming task of like 2 manageable things. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. I literally
Yeah.
got home and I just like had dry, like all my dishes. And I was like, I should go get coffee and then I'll put those away. And I'm like, what? Put them away. What are
Yeah,
you talking
just put 'em
about?
away,
It's
yeah.
balls.
right there, bro.
Yeah.
yeah, I get it.
So I try to fix all that stuff. Cause I feel like it's, especially being a comic, you want to look back and be like, these are such fun moments. I don't want to like waste them being anxious, if that makes sense. So I feel like I tried to shed that.
God, yeah. I mean, it's real nice when you can shed that anxiety.
Yeah. I'll try to shake people out of it, not in like a rude way, but I will, if I see someone being anxious, like I won't roast people, but I just don't like seeing people sit in that. And not like if it's like, obviously if you need to be on medicine, it's like, I'm not trying to make you crazy anxious, but I wish we could all just at some point arrive and like really enjoy like the moment a little bit.
Enjoy the moment. That's huge. I mean, because I have really bad anxiety, when I'm able to, and like, I don't know how to channel exactly to get into them and just drop the anxiety and just enjoy it. I will get there. And like, it's usually once I'm at a show or with my friends, I'll get there and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm good.
Yes.
I
But,
told you about me. I wake
yeah.
up sometimes at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm having a panic attack. And
I'll
I
get
don't remember a
yeah.
nightmare. And I used to freak out about it. But now I get up and I'm like, I'm up.
Yeah.
I could write. I could answer
That's
some
beautiful.
emails.
That's
you know
beautiful.
what I'm going to do? I'm going to go start laundry, and then I'll put it in the dryer later. When I fall back to sleep, I'll go get it out later.
Yeah.
So now I just kind of let it lead me.
Yeah.
So I've got up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I've got up at 3:30 recently and took a whole shower and listened to a podcast in my bathroom.
Yeah.
Just like
Yeah.
everybody else in this house is asleep. I got the house by
It's
myself.
kind of nice. And then that helps when you don't stress that you're not sleeping. 'Cause I
Yeah.
used to stress that
Yeah.
I wasn't sleeping.
And sometimes if you don't stress it and you just go with it, just like you're going to get naturally sleepy. Your body's
Yeah.
going to be like, hey, dude, this is cool. We got the laundry in here. You got that dish out the sink. You washed it.
Good.
Yeah.
You check your email. You know what you should do? Go back to sleep. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, let's do
Yeah.
that.
Well, that's what I did that. I swear to God, I did that last night. I turned off the TV because I was like, because I just moved to Austin. So I was like, this is like, I've done like this is like my second podcast. So I don't really know anybody here necessarily. I've started to meet a
Right.
lot more people.
Right.
Yeah,
But
I
last
just
night
met you two nights ago.
Yeah, that's why I say, yeah, you're like, you want to do my podcast? I was like, man, I hope you, I was like, that's a lot of trust. Like right away.
Yeah.
I just
dude.
got a good vibe from you.
Thanks.
He really
I appreciate
does.
that. I
Yeah.
do appreciate it. I feel like, well, yeah, a lot of people get the good vibe. At first, I feel like it could be off-putting because I am high energy. So I give people that thing to be like, it's like when the sun's out right away, you're like, okay, but then you're like, it's probably good for me. You know what I mean? So I do get that I put that off, but I was like, last night I turned the TV off and then I was like
Oh.
rolling over. And then I was just like, I kind of talked to myself. I was like, well, you're not ready to go to sleep. So I got back up on my computer and like knocked a
Good.
couple things out.
Good.
And then, like you said, just naturally went to sleep. And I try to listen to my body more, even whenever it comes to like I like coffee or anything. And dude, I will say, I don't think this helps completely, but overhydrating yourself helps.
Yeah.
And I will do like, not breathing exercises, but just when you're by yourself, just be like, and it's crazy how many times you're like, oh, sick. Like little
Yeah.
things will help. Cause I
You
know
need
that
to
when
breathe.
when you're just
Yeah.
sitting, you're like, oh my God, why am I feeling like this? You're like, cause
You
I'm like
take
holding
those
it all
deep
in.
power breaths and
Yeah.
those breathing exercises and stuff. It feels like you just breathed out some
It's a-
toxin from
yeah.
your system.
It's just
Oh, yeah.
pausing. It's like what Colton was saying in our last episode, where it's like we could also examine. You're feeling anxious. Okay, let's take a beat and let's be curious of what's actually going on.
Yeah.
That helps because like really, there's usually something.
Yeah.
But like with anxiety, so like there's something that I'm stressed about or something
Yeah.
that's eating me or something that I haven't addressed. And instead of just addressing it or thinking about it or trying to just, be still about it, I'll just gather anxiety and just
Yeah.
hide from it. I'm hiding behind anxiety, which is extremely uncomfortable.
Yeah. Do you listen to Alan Watts at all? Have you ever heard of him?
No.
He's really good. He has like these beautiful speech. I don't know if he's like a philosopher. I don't know what to say he is. He's like but it's like he talks in like spiritual ways, but without like religion attached to it.
Oh.
And he kind of had talked about like all of this stuff that we're talking about. Like he talks about that anxiety and he goes, when you're feeling anxious, he goes, really confront it.
Oh,
really
wow.
think about what you're doing and put it in front of you, because every time you do, it loses all of its power.
Right.
Because then you're like, oh, that is just, I have to go do that thing. And then it kind of lets it go. Because otherwise,
Yeah.
all day, like you said, you let it bottle up and you think it's this huge thing. And then when you really think about it, you're like, oh, it was just like registering to vote. That wasn't that hard at all. I just, you know what I mean? Like, it's such whatever it is, it builds up and then
Yeah.
it's not that big of a deal. And
Not a big deal.
I'm not perfect at it at all. Even
No,
today,
no.
I ate healthy. I never eat in the morning, but I was like, I can't come on like the pain management podcast if I'm not like trying to better myself. And I was like, let's try to actually like work on these things. Cause sometimes you will let yourself build them up. And anytime if you just confront it, you're like, oh, that's nothing to worry about. And it gets away from enjoying your life. Cause the anxiety is from, I feel like everyone said that, but it's like we used to have anxiety because we needed to be nervous about stuff. And now like there's almost nothing to be nervous about. So I try to remember that. Like they built this society so we could be like fucking chill. Like
Yeah.
they built this so we could be chill. And we're like, what was that? Was that the train? Am I late?
Yeah, I know. We
I
just
got three
find a way.
ex-wives and I'm a black guy in Texas. I'd be kind of
For sure.
anxious.
For sure. I did have some privilege with my anxiety. For sure.
I like his privilege and I would like some of that for
For sure.
Christmas. If anybody got something to spare.
We'll start a GoFundMe for
I just need some privilege where I could chill for a while. And that means you have to arrest all three of my ex-wives.
Yeah.
I just need to know they can't jump me at the
Dude,
same time.
honestly, the 3 ex-wives is starting to be where it kind of sounds like cool. Like it's like you're like, man,
I will say this.
that's a lot of love. That's a
One
lot of
of
love
them-
people trust you with.
One of them did reach out to me when I was at the hospital last week, and I thought that was super cool
Yeah.
because my daughter, I told her, and she was like, "Hey, okay, so Wednesday, my youngest is getting married, and
Congrats.
yeah, but here was the thing." It's kind of last minute, and she told me last minute, and I was like, I'm booked somewhere, and I don't know if I could get out of that.
Wait.
I got to try to figure this out
Hold
right
on.
now.
Comedy is so important, but also
It's not her first marriage. Okay, she's like her dad. It's like,
okay.
I love you, baby. You know I love you, but come
I'm
on, man.
booked.
Where's
No.
the show? Is it at like Madison Square Garden?
No, it is in Houston. It's 3 hours away, but the timing on it, I was like,
Ooh, I don't know.
this is going to be rough. I got to come to Houston, then turn around. Then I got to go to San Antonio
and
Friday. Then
you
turn
can't
around,
bomb.
and then I got to go.
cannot bomb.
Oh,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
You cannot bomb and then walk your
it's
daughter
like
down the aisle.
The whole family's there, and I'm just. She said, "This isn't the big one. This is the small ceremony.
Oh.
But this ain't the
I thought
big
she meant the
family
next wedding.
Yeah,
the next
oh,
one
I
will be
can't-
really
big
big.
wedding.
Oh, I cannot miss
Just
the
like
big
you,
one.
Dad.
Yeah, they will bring me. I could be dying in a bed. They will push my hospital bed in
Yeah.
there with oxygen on for that big one.
Yeah.
I'm not skipping that one.
Okay.
But yeah,
Okay,
dude,
that
there's
makes
no way
sense.
I'd skip that one.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. It's like it's like the open mic of her. Yeah, we get it.
This like, feels almost like a dress rehearsal.
Yeah.
Okay, like
Yeah.
we're gonna do this little one in front of the justice of the peace. He's just gonna be coming in, and it's not even the dress is fine for not doing all that. I said, okay, cool. But
Nice.
she was wanting me there, and I'm trying to figure out how to go.
Do you have? Can I ask as the what is it called? You're the father of the bride. That's
Father of the
what's
bride,
their
yeah.
title? Father of the bride. Because you probably gave her like a really heartfelt speech the first time, and I'm not being insincere at all. I'm sincerely asking, like, do you have like another speech? Like, because you mean it from the heart.
Here's my thing I learned, man, because I have 5 girls and 2 boys. So I felt a lot of times dads, when it comes to girls, save it up for big events instead of just like, here's a heartfelt speech every week, every month.
Right,
We're
right.
always having these conversations.
That's way healthier.
Yeah, with her, and all of them really, all the girls, which is why we're pretty close, I'm always talking to them about the big things. Hey, you got to know what's really important. And then even with them about some of their people they date, I've never told any of my kids, oh, I'm not a fan of your partner or who you're choosing to date.
Yeah.
If they ask me, I'll tell them, yeah, I think they're a bag of dicks.
Yeah, Jeremy fucking sucks. Yeah.
He sucks. You can totally do better. But
Yeah.
then at the same time, I said, but here's the thing. It's not my partner to choose. If he treats you good and he treats my grandchildren good
Yeah.
and he loves you with his whole heart, I don't have to like him.
Yeah.
I just need him to do those 3 things.
Yeah.
And if he does those 3 things, eventually I will grow to love him.
Right, which is way more important than
Yeah,
liking
so
something.
but I don't have to like this guy coming in, and I used to think, you gotta like everything. No, sometimes it's okay to not like people. Some
Yeah.
people you meet and you're just like, we gotta work on this.
Yeah. Well, you're not a dad, are you? Are you dad? Yeah.
No.
Are you have kids? So as a dad, is it like because I feel like it's easier to like love a friend. Is it way easier to like, because you were talking about all these, like we have anxiety, all this kind of stuff. Is it easier for you to like love a child and like it's got to be way easier to give love to them than like even like love yourself? Like, does it
No,
heal that
man.
part of you at all?
Yeah, but man,
I know it's a lot of a question. I have ADHD.
Here's
but
the
fucking,
thing,
let's
like
go.
with my kids, so it's 7 of them, and then they're all like there are 3 ex-wives, so there were divorces, and so those kids, like my oldest son, still has some anger issues toward me about divorcing his mom because he feels like his life would have been different had we stayed together.
Yeah.
But then when he got married, and then he went through a struggle, and he had 3 boys, I started to make more sense.
Right.
And then it wasn't so much like, oh, I get it.
Yeah. Have you guys given each other time to like be upset or like talk to each other
I
about that or
told
anything?
him to take as much time as he needed, and we literally quit talking. My oldest son and I just quit talking. But what happened was when I was working at Electronic Arts, the video game company, they came to me with this first year. They were like, hey, here's this great insurance package. You could put everybody on it. All your kids can stay on it till they turn 26. And I knew he was struggling with some issues emotionally and mentally. And I wanted him to get help. I knew he could get counseling and medicine for cheap on this. It was an amazing Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Wow.
So I called all the kids and I said, every single one of you is now on this full vision, dental, medical until you turn 26. On your 26th birthday, you're going to get booted. They're going to give you an option to sign up for Cobra at that point and stay attached to the policy. But
The Cobra Kai.
Yeah,
Like I start kicking ass. You're like, I'm not getting sick.
Fight for the title. Fight for the love of daddy.
Yeah.
But I put him on it, and then he went out and he totally took that to heart, and he got the help.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things, like even in the midst of, it was during the midst of us not talking.
Yeah, that's
Go take your time and
Good for
figure
you.
your stuff
That's
out,
real
bro.
love. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
man. And it's like one of those things where you say, even as parents, sometimes we don't always like each other, but I love you. I want the best for you. But I also understand that your struggles and my struggles are two different things. And at the end of
Right.
the day, even though you're my kid, you're still this adult that's leading a life and you're on this journey. So I would be a shitty dad if I didn't set you up to have some kind of wins.
Right.
So I was like, here's your wins. You don't have to talk to me, but this is going to help you in the long run. You're going to basically not struggle like your dad did
Nice.
trying to raise your kids.
Right.
So yeah, we're cool.
Well,
I
good
think
for
we're
you, man.
cooler now.
Yeah.
We're cooler now than we
Yeah.
were, but that was a
Good.
tough one. But yeah, dude, it's weird.
Yeah, it does get weird. Well, I'm the same. Yeah, I haven't talked to my dad in a little bit, and it's like there's still there's still love there or whatever. But it's like, yeah, sometimes you just need space. It's just like how with
Yeah.
you, like, and I know it's weird because it's a different kind of love or whatever. But it's like whenever you and someone get a divorce, but then you're like, she still reached out to you. It's like there's many different kinds of love. Sometimes you need
Yep.
space and whatever and stuff like
Yeah.
that for sure. I think because I start to see stuff as I get older too.
Oh God.
But also, yeah. But that's why you don't have a kid when you're fucking 20 years old. Like, fuck, what are you
Which I
doing?
did.
What are you doing?
I was
What are
in
you
the-
doing?
I was in the
Pull out of
military
there.
in combat
Yeah.
zones, and I had twins. Like
Oh.
before I turned 21,
And
I had
twins. Oh, but not the cool
twins,
ones.
boy and a girl, and I had already got my first combat action pin before I turned
wow.
21. So yeah, you're trying to be a dad, but you don't even realize that you have PTSD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you're like, I can't be, you're trying to figure out, why do I wake up some days and I'm scared or I'm mad and anything can set me off? But I got these babies who look at me and they think I'm the world's greatest. And I'm like, I can't take it out on them. They don't even know what
They don't. Yeah.
what I would be yelling about. They're
Right.
babies. They're 6 months old. So it was just one of those things where I got my dad, because when, Vietnam vets, they didn't have any kind of outlet for like help or mental health.
No,
They were
they had
just
those
like-
bars, and those bars seemed kind of nice.
Yeah, they
those
were
had,
like, you'll
but that
get
was
over
Yeah.
it. Put
Yeah.
some NyQuil on it.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
And so now I'm kind of like, I didn't have that. And then as, I started getting older, the help gets better.
Yeah.
We learn more. And then I'm going, oh, I feel the way you just said.
Yeah.
That's depression. I didn't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's they're benefit. I think my dad walked so I could run. I'm running so my kids can take a go-kart.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm
yeah.
just trying to make it easier for the next generation, and he's going to make it easier for his grandchildren. So my family line somewhere 50 years from now will be really mentally well-balanced mixed kids. That's all I can
Yeah.
ask for.
That's all we can all hope for,
Yeah, there's just
honestly.
a bunch of little latte-colored babies walking around
Yeah.
with good mental health.
Be like, excuse me.
Yeah. Would you like to come to my dojo?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, but that's it, man. We just got to, each generation try to do better than the last.
I think so. Yeah. I think, and I think there are, like, I feel like there are generations that you can even see trying to, like, they're like, that's, and it sucks because you can see them also top out. You can see them, you're like, this is as good as I get. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're like, all right. And it is a little bit better. Like, yeah. So,
Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
weird that you don't think, like, you think at a point in your life you're never going to have to be, you think, oh, I'm done. I don't have to be dad. I could take a back seat to being dad. No, you're dad till they put dirt on
That,
you.
yeah.
Because, man,
yeah.
my youngest son is 28, 29 this year. And he and I just had to have a conversation about his mom. He got into his first fight. He made it all the way to 29 before he had a blow up at his mom. But he told her, I wish you would die and just go to hell.
Oh,
and when he
dear.
said that, I was like, hey, bruh.
You
There's
should have
some things
spaced that
we
out
not
over a couple
gonna do.
years.
I don't
Because
even,
that's-
I don't even like your mama, but you're not gonna say that to your
Yeah,
mama.
that's
And we
wild.
had a talk, and I finally was like, "What made you say that?" But then all of a sudden, I'm talking to him, and I'm going, so you haven't been doing what you're supposed to be doing in counseling." to deal with some anger management issues, and there was some resentment. Like I'm analyzing him in the conversation and saying, this is why you got to hold up those nuggets when somebody crosses a line. You got to talk about it at that point there, because look how that grew into a seed that festered, and that comes out as this hateful thing. He said, are you going to make me apologize to her? I don't make a grown man apologize to anybody, but is that the kind of man you want to be known as? And I left it at that.
Yeah.
I knew what I'd done.
Yeah.
That's a dad power move.
Yeah.
Is that the man you want to be known as? It's up to you. I'm out.
Yeah, drop the mic. Yeah.
Figure it out. Yeah. I'm glad to say they're good. They're good now.
Good for you, man.
It was one of those things where I was like, dude, I would love a break from me, because I actively am not doing well. I'd be doing stuff dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
We just talked about this before the show. I'd be actively trying to die some weeks and be like, I should probably take my own advice and slow down and treat my body better.
Yeah.
I fight with that too.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just want to have fun.
Yes.
What are the some unhealthy stuff you do? Wait, let's switch to questions.
No. I swear to God, even though with some of the unhealthy stuff, I feel like I'm pretty healthy with it. But it's like, I know, like, I do feel
moderation, you know?
There's like a lot of moderation, but also like, I feel like it's just like a decision you have one day where you're just like, because kind of to talk about, since we're in the field of like dads and stuff like that, someone you look up to, it's like this like idol.
Yeah.
And then you see them blow up and then you're like, well, I don't want to do that. And then I remember my dad would do this thing, which I feel like such a hollow thing, is like sorry's like over and over like bad. You know what I mean? Like that kind of like sorry or whatever. But then also people who like, you think they're like, oh, I'm going to change. And then they never really do. It just feels like such like a, you know what I mean?
It feels like a kick in the balls, man. And I wrestled with that, because I used to wonder about that, especially when you have daughters and they're much more in tune with their emotions than most guys are. But I was super close to my daughter, so they kept me in tune with a lot of that.
Yeah,
so it's kind of like, I don't want to make an apology and then do the same thing again.
Right, because I feel like, you can get in that cycle like pretty easy. And what was what was your question again? What did you ask?
About what those dangerous habits,
Yeah.
bad habits were.
Oh, yeah.
I think I said, what are some bad habits you do or something?
And then I was like, but not.
And then I was like,
I
I should have asked, do you want kids?
Yeah, but no, just because it made me, it just made me remember about, and I just forgot. I do forget a lot of stuff, because that is one thing I don't do in moderation, is smoke weed. I do that in a lot. But that is one thing that is like, I feel like it is kind of like a medicine that but it's also like, you shouldn't take that much Robitussin or whatever. But I don't remember where I was going with that. But it was I feel like, I don't know, as I personally get older, I like trying to like work on myself and like think about that. And I remember now, the anger thing. My dad would do this thing. He's like, I'm just not going to be angry anymore. And instead of doing that, I just was like, I watched someone lie about that. So I just realized one day, I was like, I have to have like understand where this is coming from and then confront it and kind of do that stuff, because it's just part of like being alive. So like, even in moderation, I know it sounds weird, but that was what made me think of it. I was like, I will be angry like in moderation, like not add anything, because you don't want to be violent. That's the bad thing. Anger is not bad, because I saw like a video that was like, it's a boundary. It's a way to set a boundary.
Yeah.
So I will try to do that, is try to be like, because that's one of my worst things is I'm very emotional. I'm quick to like react. And that's something that I've like worked on for so long, for a long time, very long time.
Yeah. Anger is unavoidable. I mean, I guess it's what you do.
We kind of demonize it in America.
Yeah,
like English people be like, oh, I'm bad. Like, you know what I mean? And we're like, I'm not bad.
Yeah. No, because like, I think you associate anger with the what you do with it.
Yeah.
So like, oh, he's angry.
Yeah,
and you just
there's
associate.
no such thing as productive anger.
Right.
Yeah.
You just associate anger with like acting out and being violent.
Yeah. But there could also be like violent happiness. Like someone feels really good doing something terrible. Yeah. It's like it's like the thing we're talking about. Yeah. Just the understanding it for sure. So But I had like a lot of anger issues that I try really hard to work through and just like understand before I have to like take like a jujitsu class or something. I was like, I don't want to do that. I just want to like
wait and see if we can avoid that.
Yeah.
But you ever think about it, even in our media, a lot of times when you see the angry dad in a movie and he's super abusive to the kid and he yells and they're hiding under beds or in closets, it's always like, oh, he's going to come home drunk and beat the crap out of us. And we see that, and you don't think that's being reinforced in your brain. Even if you've never gone through that, that's being reinforced. So I think a lot of times when we see anger, and I was one of those guys, I was in the military. you're quick to react or you die sometimes.
Yeah.
You're in a situation, it's like, I got to shoot back.
Yeah.
I don't want to take your life, but I'm shooting back.
Yeah.
So you get to these points where you're like, but when you get out, what do you do with that anger?
Yeah.
Because when somebody cuts you off in traffic, it is very easy to honk your horn and scream at them.
Do you feel like that for real?
Oh, bro.
Because I will get mad, but now I flip them off so hard and I keep it going until I want to I keep it going. And I'm like, because you almost killed me. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I used to
and
be that guy.
Like if I'm with other people, I try to make, because we are comics. So if I'm like, you try to switch anger into comedy, and I will, like, I'll do a thing that like my uncle would do. He would like sing a song when he was pissed or whatever, but I'm like, you motherfucker. But whatever. But yeah, I'll flip them off. I smile. I do this.
Notorious for that one.
Yes, I have to, because I'm not, yeah, for sure. Because I used to do, the worst thing is to then, what are you going to do? Like, I'm going to cut you off. Like, this is illegal to do. A guy cut me off and I was so mad. And then we kept doing this. And then I just was like, I wonder where he's going. And I just kind of kept following him. And then eventually I'm like, what? We just sat there and like, I passed him and we both kind of looked at each other. We were like, that was the jungle in us talking. Like that was literally like, that's us being like,
It'd be cool,
I gotta
though.
fight. I'm like,
such an amazing moment to have with another human being.
Yeah, we were just like, what are we doing? We both have car insurance. Like, what are we doing?
It's great.
But no, flipping people off, getting mad, using your horn. Dude, I loved, nothing is more fun than just holding down your horn. Well, you think if someone almost kills you, my horn, get real, dude. Yes. Maybe I'll change, but no, I do that.
I'm better about it. But there have been times they know a story where I fought with somebody in the middle of the night on Reddit for 4 hours, from 3:30 to 7:30 in the morning.
What?
Arguing with a dude on Reddit.
I've never even done that. That's crazy. Someone, not even someone you know. Was it about your act?
I know.
What was it about?
It was about a porn video game.
No, it was not about porn.
This dude said the game was porn, and we argued over this game. It was the most stupid asinine moment. And I'm just like, 4 o'clock in the morning, like, oh, hell no, motherfucker.
You can't get porn in Texas. You gotta go here.
I'm arguing with this dude. And at 7:30, I just was like, I look back at our whole exchange. And he was like, whatever, you cuck. I said, if you weren't my cuck, you wouldn't have stayed up for 4 hours in this fight. I own you. And that was just at that point when I wrote that out. And I was like, Roderick, is this who you are as a person? No. Now I'm hitting myself with the information I'm hitting my son with. Is this the man you are?
No.
Oh, get off this. What? Delete this whole thread.
Dude, that threw me for a loop. Why were you arguing about porn?
3:30 in the morning.
No, why? Like, the time isn't wild that you think that's what I think is interesting about this story.
No.
What about porn were you arguing about?
Yeah.
He was saying something was porn. I was arguing, you're being a prude. That is not porn. Right? And it became us arguing back and forth. I can't even tell you the game. That's how embarrassing.
You don't remember?
4 hours of arguing about a game.
Please.
Oh, you don't want to say what it is?
No, I'd have to go look it back up.
Okay.
I literally, because Cody hit me up and said, what was the game? And I was like,
what is it about?
And he was like, you don't remember the game? And I was like,
was it Sims?
No, it was legitimately a game on Steam that very questionable content. But I think for it to be porn, it has to be heavily sexual.
Dick.
Is there like a part where you're fucking and you're like X squared?
Yeah, that would be, to me, that's a porn game.
That's a porn game.
Yeah, but you're like, she flirts with you and you think that's porn?
That's
bro,
cool.
you are in the closet. Get out, bro.
Yeah.
And so
I guess where is the line, you know? Like
you know what?
Maybe flirting could be porn a
little bit. You know what hit me
Yeah.
about that? There's this thing that Lyndon B. Johnson said, I don't know what filth, I can't describe filth, but I know it when I see it.
He goes, but I know it's in my name a little bit.
Lyndon B. Jizzin.
Y'all clip that. Save that. It's a very political statement. I need that saved.
Oh my
It's going to be my new ringtone. But yeah, man, it's such a stupid thing. And you never think about your anger, but I used to be that guy. Oh, I'd run after you, follow you, honk the horn.
I have followed people.
off.
I followed people home. I folled this. I didn't know she was a woman.
That's scary for
I
her.
assumed,
and you're like, I'm on a lot of Celsius.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm wired.
I didn't know she was a woman until I got to her house. I assumed because of the way she was driving. But no, just
Dude,
kidding.
stop. It's so much worse how you describe it.
So just kidding. But I got to her house, and that's when the moment was. I was like, I got to the house, and she got out of her car, and I'm like, that's when I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I
that's
just
She's
drove
hot.
away.
Like,
yeah,
I should be asking. She's beautiful.
Yeah.
she gets out. It's like,
Also-
this that Hallmark movie that
This
Roger
magic moment. Why your car's so close to mine?
yeah, and then this was also like 6-7 years ago. when I
Yeah.
was
You were a
in-
different Jimmy then.
Well, I mean, I still get crazy, but that was on medicated. That was like the depths of addiction and stimulants and
yeah, different Jimmy.
I feel like we're both hard guys to like picture being angry, but I feel like you're like, do you want to go? Like, I feel
Yeah.
like that's like you being upset.
well, I would get out of cars at red lights
yeah.
and scream at windows and stuff.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I was. I mean,
Because
I
no
was
one wants to
crazy.
fight a crazy guy. It's my best friend used to always say. He's like, my dad would do it. He's like, if you're like, but you weren't just doing that for show. You were like, that's how I felt.
That's how I felt, but also I was banking on me being so crazy that the odds of someone wanting to engage was low. But boy, if someone ever got out, I mean, I would get the
Pummeled.
fucking shit kicked.
Yeah, I heard
out
you
of
got
me.
punched in the nose
I
on
grew
that.
up in New
Yeah.
Orleans and East Texas.
Yeah,
We all had guns in those cars.
Whoa.
So you just, in New Orleans, you just knew we don't get out the car at this light.
yeah.
Because you get out and that window's just going to roll down. And the next thing you hear, pop, pop, pop. You're
Yeah.
going to hear an automatic hit your chest.
Yeah.
And that's
But
like,
Please use your blinker next time.
yeah. That's why you can flip me off and stay in traffic. But I was just like, no, man, I had to
It
let some
wasn't
of that
smart.
stuff go. And then also, there's people in the back seat, your kids are looking at you, and you start hearing them mimic things you said, and you're going, oh,
Yeah.
thanks for playing that sound
Yeah.
bite back in front of your grandmother.
You gonna
Now-
die, bitch.
Yeah, that's not something you want. Oh, dude, the worst is my daughter one time, Kiara, man. I can dance like the girls in the music videos Daddy likes. And they said,
Oh,
what did she
dear.
do? And she went up to the wall, put her hands up, and she just started squatting.
Oh, wow.
And she thought she was twerking, and I was like, we're never watching BET in front of this
Sure.
child again.
We all do that when we were
There are
kids. We
no
all like
rap
dance.
videos
Yeah.
in this house.
Yeah.
We listen to Kayla. What's
Yeah.
Christian radio?
Dude,
yeah,
that's
she
so
killed
funny.
me with that. I was like, oh, you little fucking parrot, you snitched.
Yeah.
But-
Oh,
You guys
yeah.
both said two things, and that made me think of we were talking about being angry in traffic, and then you talked about guns. And my buddy who we used to do we did comedy in St. Louis together, and he was like, we came to this place and his dad was there with him, and he goes, yeah, I cut my dad off on the way here. And I go, what did he do? And he goes, came around me, I looked down and there was a red light here, he was pointing his
Oh.
gun at me, and I go,
Oh.
I go, really? And I was like, maybe I should call my dad. I was
Yeah.
like, but I was like, dude, that's so funny that to cut your dad off in traffic. And he's like, for real? He's like, I just kidding. I was like, that's so funny.
Yeah.
His
That's
dad's an intense
crazy.
guy.
Wow, wait,
He also gave him because we were talking about speeches before the wedding, we were sitting there and my buddy was like, dude, I'm like kind of nervous. And we were standing there, we were just like, as guy, we're all talking, but he looks at his dad, he's like, Dad, do you have a speech for your son, like before he gets married or whatever? Like maybe something you could say? And his dad goes, huh? Oh, yeah. Well, it's gonna happen whether you want it to or not. So you can enjoy it or let the moment kind of pass you by. But either way, it's going to happen. Did you see that video of that guy who almost died and then didn't, and now he believes in Jesus again? And my buddy goes, thanks a lot, Dad. that was his whole speech before he went out. He goes, Bobby, do you have anything? And I was like, we could smoke pot before you walk up there. I was like, that's all I could offer. Yeah. But yeah, he literally said that. He's like, it's going to happen whether you like it or
Wow.
not. Did you see that guy that almost died because he was skydiving and now he can't walk, but he believes in Jesus Christ?
That's actually that's a good one
Immediate
though.
shift.
If
So-
I had to
it's
get a
so
speech,
true.
I'd be
Yeah.
like, that's very.
I know. I was sitting there, I was
That's
like,
actually deep. It means a lot, right?
holy
now.
shit.
Now, what do you do if you're a friend of somebody
Yeah.
and they're getting married and you 100% know that it's not a good idea, and then they ask you a day before the wedding, should I be doing this?
I'm going to be 100% honest. They don't ask that because no one who would ask and kind of knows that answer, I think, would ever ask someone that.
You'd be honest?
I don't know. I'm
Because
a very
at
honest
this
person.
point, it's too late.
It also depends on how close you are to that person. Like you could even be in the wedding party and not know if you could say that. Like that's a crazy question because some people, I hate this, but I've realized this. Some people are codependent with someone else.
100%.
So they might like need that. But like if someone asked me legitimately, if they were like, hey, what do you think? I'd be like, they're great. But if they legit were like, for real, what do you think? I'd have to be like,
You have to be honest.
but I also would I would do it like the sandwich thing. I'd be like, they do this, which is nice.
Yeah.
this fucking totally absolutely sucks about him.
Yeah.
And then I cannot think of another thing. But yeah, I think I'm pretty honest to a fault, except for now when it comes to like things that don't really matter, because I feel like I was like so honest, and sometimes it like kind of can hinder you from certain things. So some things I'll just be like, yeah, whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't even have a good example for it, but there's certain things I'm just like, I'm not tied down to it like it's like a religious standard or something like that. But anything that's like morally right, I feel like I have to say. Like if someone like someone did ask me like recently what they thought of, like they asked that, not at like a marriage level, but like what do you think? And I was like, they're okay.
Yeah.
And they're like, interesting.
I think that's good to do. I mean, especially if it's a good friend. I mean, they don't have to act on what you get back, but also I think it's important to be honest with the people you care about.
I think so too.
That's a real friendship.
Yeah.
That you don't want to co-sign your friends' bullshit. You don't want to.
I've never had anxiety about telling someone what.
Friend.
Yeah, I've never had anxiety on telling someone what I feel, unless it's a personality trait that I don't think that they're like, that's like who they're gonna be. It's not like something that I think that they would even want me to tell them, that I'm like, that's just who, like, or whatever. But no, I had a friend once that we were just gonna like, I think we were just gonna smoke weed, and I could just tell he was in like a weird place, and I was like, hey man, I think you should like probably just like go home. And he literally was like, yeah, I think you're right. And I was like, whatever. But I don't have a hard time telling people like what I think about like stuff or whatever. I'm not even hard. I'm also pretty good at like, if someone says something to me, I'll be like, fuck yeah, you might be right about that. Yeah.
I enjoy people being honest to me. I have a really hard time telling someone a difficult truth. And I really wish I was better at that.
Yeah, because you just heard about how that blew up in my face recently.
Yeah, because I'll just go along with it. I'll say what I think they want to hear. I want people to feel good in the moment. And
but then it's just it's not great. Yeah.
It's not.
Sometimes
great.
you have to. I know it's just like it's like a passing moment.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you,
I do it with sets a lot. I'm so bad with sets because I love giving. If I'm like, hey, you could say this in your act.
Yeah.
But as far as like. Yeah, trying to like just critiquing people feels weird.
It does, but like also there's a few people in this scene. I mean, that I've had a relationship where we are honest about each other's comedy,
right?
And that's when I am honest, and I'll tell people to stop telling that joke. Like
I can't ever tell someone to stop
telling.
Yeah.
Only because it's usually because they're telling a joke that doesn't really match with who they are.
That makes sense.
It's like I feel like I would, if I was more honest with the people I cared about, I would have deeper and better relationships with them. And I really want to have stronger relationships with people. And I think ultimately not being honest and not telling people how I feel is hindering my ability to have, deep, meaningful relationships.
Well, just like anything, it's a practice. You should just start.
Practice.
Just start. You really start doing it because it's like if it's who you want to be, you wouldn't just like wait for opportunities to like do yoga. You would be like, I'm gonna start doing yoga. You know what I mean? Like you start like just tiny things. You can just start with, and it doesn't. You don't have to become like an over opinionated person. But if someone's just like, I mean, people do it all the time. Because I go on the road with like a lot of female comics, they'll be like, what do you think about this? And I like. So many times I'll be like, you look good, but that does not look good on you. And I've like learned how to like say things and they'll be like,
wow.
And they'll be like, whatever. And it's only because like, I just like learned, I was like, you know what I mean? Cause I would say like, oh, it looks good. And then someone else would be like, that looks so weird. And they're like, why weren't you honest with me? And so, and also when you say it, when you're being mean and when you're being honest. And I think being honest is so much easier
than being mean.
Well, just to hold on to.
I gotta ask both of y'all, have you ever had a situation where one of your friends was with somebody and you found out they were getting cheated on?
I just talked about this. I swear to God, yesterday. Yes.
And you had to have that conversation with them. Like, I have some bad news to tell you.
My first weekend on the road, I had never featured. I'd only hosted like a couple times. And Nikki Glazer like literally was like, do you want to like feature for me on the road? I was like, Nikki, I've never even featured. She was like, wow. You'll do great. Yeah. I love her to death. She's the best.
Yeah.
And so she took me on the road, but she was like at that point in comedy where it's like, sometimes when you're a headliner, you can like pay for like a hotel, you can do whatever. She was like, I can buy, when we go out and eat, I'll pay for that. But like, you have to find a place to stay. And I was like, well, I know someone. And I had a friend who was like kind of talking to this girl. She brought a dude back to I'm sleeping on the floor on like an air mattress and they went upstairs and I could hear them fuck.
Oh my God.
100%. The next day she was like, see ya. Like, or I might have like left or whatever. She knew I was there.
Yeah.
Like they went upstairs. Maybe she thought I don't remember, like whatever.
Yeah.
Like she didn't recognize you possibly?
Yeah. And yeah, whatever. But maybe we didn't say hi. I thought we said hi, but Yeah, and then I 100% had to tell the person because I think they were gonna be like, maybe like they were like, I think I might like date this person. I was like, oh, I have to tell you that, and I was gonna tell that person anyway or whatever. But so I have, had to do that. I feel like if I really thought about it, I'm sure I've probably had to do it in like other situations too because it's weird.
It's one of the worst conversations, man, that you have to have is tell somebody, hey, bro.
I had sex with your girlfriend, man. Like, I'm just kidding.
Your wife was at this party I was at, and I saw her give out party favors.
Yeah.
Oh, I am so sorry. I don't want to have this conversation with you. Yeah. I've seen that happen.
But it is nice when someone does it because I've had someone do it for me.
Yes.
So that's nice. Because like, I was dating a girl that was living in another city. And we had like met at a show. We kind of kept talking. And we'd like hung out a couple times. And she was always like, I'll come see you in St. Louis. And she lived in Nashville. And then I was like, well, I'll go surprise her. The place I'd been like sending stuff for like flowers. And I literally I swear to God, Tom Segura was one of the last times he was like doing like a club. And I'm like, wow. I'm like, this is crazy. And afterwards I was like, I feel like I should just go see her now. I had this feeling.
Yeah.
And I got to her house and I like called her. She didn't answer.
Oh my God.
And I was like, this isn't where she said she lived. There's like a boat in the like yard and stuff. And my friend, I texted her friend and she was like, that's my house. She has like a fiance. She's like been lying to you and stuff. And she's like, I am actually not as good of a friend. Like when we hang out, it's like, she's like being like, oh, you remember like this girl or whatever? We're actually not that close. And she's like, I just feel like you're such a nice guy. I want to tell you this. And even the guy who she was with who told me, because they like met me in a parking lot to tell me this. But I was just so glad that they were honest because like, who knows like how long I would have like, but there was huge signs, but you're just like, when you're younger, you don't like realize that or whatever.
I had a homegirl. It was her best friend told me the situation.
Yeah. Which is nice. They're like, I can tell that you need to know this. I feel like I can tell
sat me down and told me everything. And then she was so cool. I ended up becoming her best friend.
Yeah.
Because she sat me down and told me like, hey, here's who she's with. Here's what's going on. You are one of a collection. And I was like, I'm not even number one.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I don't even have ranking. Am I in the top 3 at least?
Yeah.
But yeah, when I started going through that and realizing that we basically were playing the college football playoffs in this lady's vagina. I was hurt, bro. Top 12.
Yeah,
I was in the top 12. I had a shot at the national championship. I just got to win.
Oh my God.
Yeah. She her best friend told me where I was and that hurt, but I was like, thank you. And then she called me and checked on me. Hey, are you okay? Yeah, I feel better. Hey, you want to go catch this movie? I'm going to take her. Then she became one of my dearest confidants and friends. We're still friends to this day because she came through and she proved she was that person. She was my friend. Yeah. And I was like, dude, and it wasn't even one of those things where it's like, well, she told you that because she was trying to be. No, she really was legit. Like, you're getting played and you're a really nice guy, and I'm sick of seeing dudes like you get hurt like this. And then you're going to be like, oh, women suck. And now you're a pain in the ass. I'm going to just stop that before it happens. And I was like, oh, that was my next move.
Yeah. Well, it's like what Jimmy was saying. It's nice to be able to just like have someone who'll just tell you the truth. Because then it's like, in my, like, I don't have like a life philosophy or anything like that, but I'm just like, I feel like for honesty and like love and relationships, it's like we're all trying to find our way home. And I feel like by being honest, it just kind of will work out. And so it's nice when someone can do that for you. Because otherwise you just feel alone. Like you feel alone once you get cheated on or whatever. Yeah. So it's nice to have someone in your corner because then it doesn't make you, lash out or do whatever,
We are in a business where a lot of us lie to ourselves.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's
for sure.
So hard to be honest when we're lying to ourselves. Sometimes.
Oh yeah, I'm like, man, I have to make this post perfect because 16 people are gonna like it. Yeah.
I think we get caught up in a lot. My thing is, I love comedy. I don't like all the shit that is surrounded by comedy. Like, I hate posting clips. I basically have not posted a clip in months, and my Instagram has grown, but what I did is I quit posting clips and I started posting real ass stuff. Like, hey, I'm actually here doing this. Or, hey, sometimes comedy isn't all that great. Sometimes, just real ass stories from my life. People like the realest shit about you. And that's what I've connected with people on.
Well, yeah, if you see someone on a trail, that's what we're all doing. I feel like with Instagram or whatever, like as a comic, like with like that, it's like, oh, someone's doing that. So we should kind of all do that. But when you're on a trail, you're way more impressed with the dude who's climbing up the mountain. You're like, oh, fuck. And they're like, you can go wherever you want. Yeah. So I feel like trying to, like, that's another thing, like a freedom that I've had too. Cause I'll feel like anxious, like I have to post. And I'm like, dude, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything. I had a buddy who like quit comedy and it felt like he was like so nervous to tell me. And I was like, dude, I don't care. I was like, life is so much more important than just like any one thing. You know what I mean? So it's like, you have to like find that balance for
Find
sure.
your
You want to
thing.
do whatever makes you happy. I've come to the realization that what makes me the happiest is doing stand-up comedy. So whenever I doubt what I'm doing, I can tell myself, oh, well, there's nothing else I'd rather do
Yeah.
than comedy, and that makes me happy. If someone can find happiness somewhere else, I
Yes.
think
Go
go
do
for
it.
it.
I don't, yeah, because especially the happiness that you get from this, you're like, I wouldn't want that anyone to not have that in their life.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Like I
Yeah.
hope someone has this thing. Like it's
For
like
sure.
I feel lucky. Yeah, I found it like young, and I feel like it's cool to know the thing you want to do because I couldn't even imagine not knowing. Like I've gotten to do multiple things I've wanted in life. Like, and so I just was like, oh, I want to do that or I want to do that. So I like would try to do it. But hearing someone say they want to try stand up for years and they haven't even done a mic, like fucking kills me, dude.
Yeah, just
'Cause
do
some people
it
are like,
and see. You know?
yeah, just do it. Like I'm so shitty at singing and playing guitar, but I was talking to a musician. I was like, you should sign up because I was like, he's like, I know I want to. And I'm like, you live in Nashville, dude. The open mics, go out.
Yeah.
And then I went on stage and played guitar and sang so that now I was like, dude, I've did it. And I was like, my leg was
Yeah.
shaking. Everyone everyone was so
Yeah.
nice to me because they all
Yeah.
knew me as a comic. They're like, dude, that was really good. I was like, that's how you know it wasn't. And I was like, yeah. But I think trying to find what you like is super, super integral to being like, it's just to being a
Happy.
person.
Yeah, being a person. Yeah, it's like I feel like before I did comedy, I just had I didn't know why. I didn't know what to do. I was depressed and anxious
Yeah.
and neurotic, and I knew I made people laugh, and making people laugh made me happy.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do with myself, and I thought it was broken, and I thought that I just, I couldn't keep jobs, and I dropped out of college, and then now I can be like, okay, all the shitty things that happened led me to this.
And all those things are actually kind of perfect for the thing you found, which is really wild.
Yeah, I needed to go
Do you know
through
how
all
many
that.
greats in our business were everything you just described right there that were neurotic and they had all those. Rodney Dangerfield tells the story of failing over and over before he was my age, before he had success.
A lot of people sleeping in cars that aren't telling the story too, though. Like, people, like that's But I do think about that. Like, I always think about like how happy. Because I told someone, I was like, yeah, like my credit score is like bad. I don't have like money as a comic or whatever. But I was like, I would definitely put my like actual like happiness of like my soul, whatever you want to say, up against anybody. I feel like you get that so much as a comic. Like you have those moments where, or like people you get to meet doing this or whatever. Like it starts to feel validating where you're like I was actually upset at an airport the other day, and I was like, and then I literally was like, dude, you never flew until you did stand up. Like I never had flown.
Yeah.
And so now I'm like, you have to enjoy these things. Like you have to enjoy the thing you wish you would beg to do this.
That credit score thing hits.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
When I was in the tech industry, I'll tell you, I had a 735. It is not a 735.
Oh yeah,
anymore.
you'll see someone meet you after a show, and you could tell they're doing so good, and they're like, "It is so cool, you're a comic."
Oh,
they want your life so bad. If they could, they want to do this so bad.
Yeah. I had a bunch of my friends still in that industry are like, dude, you're the rock star. And I was like, yeah, and I have credit like everybody in the Sex Pistols. Okay. It is. I have their combined credit score.
Yeah.
It is not high.
Yeah.
I do have to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it's not good. I was just agreeing with the credit score thing. Maybe go, yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, it is not.
But I want to say about like when you're in the airport and you're like, shit, I got to enjoy this. It's like I have to remember to enjoy this way more. Like I'm still just so anxious, and like a lot of times I'm just not happy, and like all these great things are happening, and there's just days when I can't appreciate where I am and what I'm doing and how great my life is.
Yeah.
And
Well, I hope you
like,
find
when
that,
is
because
this
I feel like
gonna
on top of
happen?
stand up, you need to find the other thing that make sure you have that happiness. And like,
for sure.
you see, you seem like you're doing well. If that makes, I don't know if like you don't like you just sitting here with you seem like you're doing great.
Yeah, I'm doing good, but I mean, but then I'm someone that has really bad days.
Same.
So
Same.
I mean, so like I'll tell myself that I'm doing well, or I'll believe that I'm doing well, but then I'll have a day when it's like I'm down. I'm like, thinking,
and you can't. You know that the light switch. No matter how, you know it won't come on. I know what you mean.
Yeah. And it's like dark thoughts and bad thoughts, and
how do you get out? What do you try to do to combat that?
I try to act as if I am okay. I try to surround there was a few days ago, I was in a bad place, like bad.
Yeah.
And do
you live alone? Sorry, this is just like to the.
Oh no, yeah, I live with 2 comics. Both of them are out of town.
Okay.
There's 3. My friends, Jake, Christoph, and Joe live like maybe 3 minutes away.
Cool.
So I was like, I'm gonna go to their house and I'll just be depressed there instead of being depressed by
yourself.
Yeah.
So that's what I usually do. I'll be around other people.
That's huge.
Yeah, if I can get out of that house and be around someone else, and
it's hard to pull yourself out of the house.
Jimmy,
It's
but
so
think about
hard.
this, brother.
Yeah.
You're still better than a year ago.
Oh, way better. Yeah.
Sometimes you got to look back at your past
Or
and
even,
go,
especially
no,
like
a year
2 or
ago,
3
I
years
wouldn't even
ago.
went to somebody's
No,
house.
I would sit in it, and
It just sucks when I know that feeling when you're like, how many times, when can it
is
kind
this
of be
gonna
over?
stop?
How many times, like, it looks like a wound that kind of you're like, I keep putting Band-Aids on it.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of checking and it not being like
Yeah.
just flat again.
Well, I feel like depression for me is like eczema, where it's like you'll have a flare up. You know,
Yeah.
it's never gone. It's just
Sometimes
you know,
it's
just
real
in
bad.
remission.
you know you have it, and you
Yeah.
know it's gonna come back sometimes.
That's cool that you can go over to your friends though, because like not all friends know how to help with this, and also not knowing how to help is so fucking okay. Because like just being with people is so
Yeah,
nice. Like
especially
comics, like just knocking yourself like out of the thing or whatever is nice.
Yeah,
But
100%.
so good for you.
For me, it's that my happy place is comics, is
Yeah.
comedians. So like being around comedians, I just feel safe.
That's my favorite thing
Yeah.
about moving here, because anytime I go somewhere, I feel very comfortable just around comics. It's like it's what we all do. But I was just telling Rebecca this, and I was like, I'm not just saying this because I like just met you, but this, I think it's known that this is like the best hang.
Oh, it's the best.
Oh,
It's the best hang. It's not nowhere's completely authentic, but it's the
Right.
most authentic
This is
I've ever met
authentic,
comic.
yeah.
Because you go a lot of places, and like in St. Louis, we would have such a good hang. Like after the show, we'd all be hanging out in the parking lot, and I feel like that's so good for comics because you're on stage for such a short time to try the thing you want to do and whatever,
Yeah.
and then the rest of it is us just hanging out. And there's so
Yeah.
many times if I'm worried about all going on stage, it's more about like who else is on the show, who's going to see me, way more than like my act. So if you can be more confident with who you're around, then all of a sudden, then you can kind of focus on like, oh, I'm not worried about how I do. Like even the show we were on, I didn't know anybody. Dude, that whole day I was like, I'm not going to work. I'm like, I was nervous because I'm like, I don't know anybody. This is like kind of like an introductory set. So I got into like those
Right.
old habits or whatever, where you're like, fuck, why am I nervous? Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Weird.
So that was stressful. Then you went on and you were
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I even felt better when all my buddies that I knew showed up. So we were doing bits before, and then they introduced me to you. And also my buddy
Right.
Zach Bukovich was already talking. He was like, who's on the
Exactly.
show?
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, and he was talking about you. He's like, dude, you're going to love that guy. He's so nice. He's so
Oh,
sweet to
wow.
talk to. Yeah.
oh wow.
Swear to God.
Yeah, and you made me feel comfortable too. And
Cool, man. Good.
But then also, you know, you went up, and the thing about stand-up comedy is you can be anxious all day, and you can feel like, you know, oh shit. But as soon as you get on stage, I don't know
Yes.
if it is for you guys, but you're like, oh, business as usual.
Once,
you know,
like
Yeah.
three
Once
sentences.
that first pop and laugh.
Yes. Once a
Oh.
couple sentences are out, I feel it. Like I'm like, okay.
Good.
But then I feel good. Yeah. Once you get like a laugh, which I did, it was so few people when I had walked on, and they were kind of laughing. And I walked on stage and it didn't do well. And then I just was like, but then that's where I'm like, because I surrendered to the bit, because I'm like, who cares? It's just stand up. Like it really is just stand up.
you thought you didn't do well.
No, at the beginning, I felt like I didn't start very well.
Because I thought, I mean, I was blown, because I hadn't seen any of your clips or anything like that, so I was blown away. I was like, "Oh shit!"
Oh,
but
thanks, man.
But also, I just get a feeling like this guy's the real deal.
Thanks.
But
Wow.
I mean, there wasn't a lot of people, but you got all the laughs from the back of the room of the comics, which
Yes,
is what,
that's why I decided to play too, because I surrendered.
Which
I was
is
like, I'm gonna make
amazing.
them laugh. I moved here from St. Louis, and there was a manager who said I'd never make it, and he was so fucking right.
Oh,
and
that was so funny,
So we started playing with
yeah.
that, but then I couldn't see the audience because it's like, you know, the lights are always
It's
bright, but I
fu-
really
yeah, it's
couldn't
bright
see
there.
anybody.
Yeah.
And then I started getting more laughs, and then I was like, oh man, I'm like the greatest comic ever. But then I got off stage, and there was like way more people. Like so many
Yeah,
people
yeah.
had shown up.
people,
So,
were coming in as you were
As I was on stage.
Yeah, I
Yes.
mean, because what's it called? Esther's
The place
Follies.
next door. Yeah.
Yeah, that
Oh,
gets
y'all were in
out.
the Velveeta?
Yeah, that
Okay.
gets out, and then a bunch of people just like come in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so as you're on set,
Yeah.
you just let more and more laughs.
Velveeta is a fun, very intimate
know.
room, but you're not going past that fifth row if you're looking into it. You're
Oh,
like,
yeah, for sure,
Those
yeah.
lights,
It
I
feels
can see
good.
5 deep, and it's
You guys all,
over.
dude, Austin, every room I've gotten to like go and like watch shows or like gotten to go on, like it's awesome. I always wanted to move to New York. And then I'd headlined a couple times at like Cap City, and I had been brought on the road by someone. So I'd came to Austin like in the past. And then I was just like in St. Louis, and I was like, man, I want to move somewhere. I was just like not feeling in love with St. Louis. And it wasn't like the exact thing that made me want to move here. But after I had headlined, I was like, let's go see a show. My buddy was like, have you ever seen Casey Rocket? And I was like, I've never even heard of him. And we came here and saw Casey Rocket. And I was like, oh, they make those here? I was like, that's because and I love New York, dude. New York's my favorite city to go to.
Yeah,
I love the
mine
comics
too.
there. Some of my buddies, you could see them after the show, they get this depression that they just lock back into in New York. And here it felt like it was more loving, silly or whatever. And I'm like, my depression's important to me to like think about. So I was like, Austin just seemed like the place or whatever to move. So it seems so fun.
Yeah.
Man.
I think you made the right move. And also you're gonna get on stage so much. And
Thanks. I hope so.
I think so. I'm pretty sure.
He hasn't been wrong yet.
So, and then also the community and like a place like Creek feels like home to me.
Yep.
Yeah. Me already
and-
too, for 100%.
Yeah, it's like home base, and it's
Yeah.
like you have a community here, and
Yeah.
it's like you find your people.
Yeah.
There's a lot of comics. You find, I mean, I know so many comics, but I have my like people, and you really don't feel, comedy. You can get that alone feeling a lot.
Yeah.
You feel alone, and then if you go on the road, you feel alone sometimes. But to have
Yeah.
like your home base be, just a place where you feel comfortable, and then also you're gonna get on stage so much and get so. I mean, I've gotten so much better just from moving here, just because the
Yeah.
amount of time I've
It's
been
a
able to
different.
give.
I was just telling my friend, and I don't know if you guys feel like this at all, but I was saying, I go, the 12 minutes I was on stage, and I'll explain what I mean. The 12 minutes on stage felt like when I do a feature set.
right.
It felt because it was like they care about literally when you're on stage. Sometimes I feel like I'm trying to get to stuff when you're
Yeah.
featuring on the road. Here, everyone's great, and they get to see such a vast amount of people or whatever. So they really pay attention to every word. So every part of your joke. So I'm excited to do that too, because I feel like it's gonna like tighten up all those things and make
Yeah.
things faster and
When
make
you're
things.
getting 10-minute sets,
Yeah.
you're gonna tighten stuff up.
Yeah.
That's because I was doing longer. I was lucky enough to do longer sets and move from Florida.
And where'd you live in Florida again?
I lived in Melbourne.
Where's that closest to? Like the major city?
Orlando.
Okay, okay.
So I would do long sets in Melbourne, and
Yeah.
and then I was able to do longer sets in Orlando and other
Yep.
places, Tampa and stuff. So you kind of get used to that, and being able to take that breath, that 20-minute set where you can be
Yes.
just chill.
It's
But
so nice.
It's so nice. Oh my God. And then now I'm having the opportunity to do longer sets at Creek.
nice.
And
yeah.
and now I'm able to but I think doing all those short sets, it's like it just tightens you up.
Yeah.
Then you bring it out in like a 20-minute, it makes your 20 better.
Makes it so much better. And you have you're like, oh, I have to show you who I am. Because whenever I had signed up for the mothership, and they're like, my buddy's like, dude, you made it on. And I just assumed I wouldn't, because I had just moved here. I was like, I'm sure the
Yeah.
list can be so long, and I'd made it on. And then I go, okay, cool. I was like, what is it, 4 minutes? They go 3, and I go, what? And I was like, whatever. Because then I was like, and then it makes you think, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I have to figure out how to showcase yourself and get your
3
ideas
minutes.
out and make sure you can stick in there.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And it was just fun because it made you start thinking about it in like way different ways
yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love it.
3
That's-
minutes.
Yeah, I like I feel like everybody, it's just fun because also everyone here is really working on it. Where you came from Orlando and I came from St. Louis. It's my home city. I love it. But sometimes people would just bitch and complain about stuff because there was only so many spots. Here, you really can book yourself so much. So it's fun to be around people just doing fun bits because they like the hang. And there's like not enough work to go around. You're always going to feel like you want more.
Okay, there's the line.
Do you know
That's
what I'm
what I-
saying?
yeah.
There's not enough work. No, I don't think there's enough work,
Yeah.
but it seems like you can still try to do it and work on stuff, whereas other people would just be like, the 3 spots that are available, speaking, are gone. I guess I fucking suck.
Yeah.
Instead of like trying to do more stuff.
That's why
Like,
Cody
yeah.
and I are on the road, because, and I had a great conversation with Mike Eaton this week. We did the Creek Friday for the comedy, the Creek Presents, and I hadn't seen Mike in months, but we were in the green room, and he's like, tell me how proud he was of Cody and I for staying on the road for this last year and doing our
Yeah.
thing. And I said, yeah, dude, I've noticed you've been out. He said, yeah, because we're all fighting for the same 10 to 15 minutes.
Right.
He said, and now it's down to us fighting for 8 minutes. And I said, yeah, because there's so many of us
Sure.
that are moving here. And I feel like a lot of us there's a lot of really good comedians.
I enjoy watching
Not
all
all
the
of them
shows.
are great, but there have been a lot of great comedians in this town that, if you walk out into the club on Friday at the Creek and Tone Bell's just sitting at the bar, you're going, bro, you're on Netflix. Well, here comes Brian from the mothership. Here comes Cam dropping in later that night. So there's all these big name people. Amy Shanker's one of my favorites, man. But I also notice I don't see Amy as much as I used to on everybody's showcases. So we're all fighting to try to get that time now. So it's definitely a great city to be in. Iron sharpens iron. You're only going to get better as hard as you work at this.
But we have way more. There's never been this many outlets though, which is
like
nice
10
too.
clubs right now.
Well, not even that. I'm saying as a stand-up comic because it's not. No one's just a stand-up comic anymore. There's podcasts, everything. So it's like now, like there's so many other outlets too. So I feel like I get what you're saying. I do sometimes think about how many comics there are, but I always am like, oh, but that's okay because I can just do this other thing. Like,
that's been my whole
just focus
hustle.
on
It's
something
like,
else.
well, okay, nobody's doing stand-up comedy at anime conventions. I'll just go there. No
Dude,
clubs
yeah.
books me. And I did that for a while. Did it became, hey, I'm already here and I work in the video game industry. Let's do this
there's shows
podcast with our
'cause
buddies.
That's the thing I'll say is you're like, oh, there's not shows. There are shows you can do everywhere. The good shows. It's like that's a rare thing.
You want the good shows. But one thing I'm doing is the bad shows. I'm like, I'm not gonna what's it called? Phone it in for the bad shows.
Never,
I'm gonna work on something.
Well, not
and then-
never. I have. That's a lie. I will phone it in or play or whatever. Like you think about the check or you're thinking about whatever. Yes, sometimes I will. But I say,
sure.
dude, I only recently just started saying no to like gigs that didn't make sense. And if it was like a hell gig and it was a bad, I said yes to a show that I asked my buddy to open for me, and he was like, the whole way there, he's nervous. He goes, "We're opening for kids." I go, "It's kids," and he goes, I don't know why I said yes to this. And it was like so it was the kids when they graduated that weren't going to go out and party. They like signed this thing. And so I was like, I can do a clean set. So we did a clean set and swear to God, I filmed it and I would like to try to clip it up because it was so much fun. At one point, this kid in like the audience started talking and I go, "What did you say?" He goes, I'm sorry. I goes, "If you make fun of me, I will literally scream." He goes, and so then I started like, it's like I got to like deal with them. Like I treated them like they were a comedy club, but with like G-rated material. And it was so fun because it's like, sometimes you saying yes to anything and you don't get that at any like a club or whatever. So you saying yes to everything, especially early on. Like I've done, I would never be like, I've done everything, but I've done like all the shit gigs you could do.
That's my brother's thing. The 3 Ps: the people, the project, the pay.
Yeah.
You only got to get 2 of those to line up.
Yeah.
So if it's people I like working with, the pay is like too good for me to say no, or this is a project I've never done and it would be fun. You only need 2 of the 3
And you
Ps.
know it's not rock and roll because we didn't list pussy at all.
Because
that's like
very few of us are getting that.
That's like one of theirs for sure, dude.
I got 7 kids, but I got it before comedy kicked in.
Oh yeah. I don't know if you know, but I'm on an improv team. Like, ew, gross.
I don't know.
Brought your own contraceptives.
Yeah, comedy's pretty popular now. You kind of feel.
Oh, it's the most. I think it's feel like it's. It's never been this huge.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
you can get pussy doing comedy. I don't, but I feel like you could do it.
I love Jimmy. Jimmy, you can get it. I'm not getting
that.
any.
Yeah, I'm not the.
I'm about to have Jimmy like, "Jimmy, you want a job? Because you could try to book some for me. Because I'm not getting those gigs."
In Florida, like my 3, I either dated girls in AA. I mean, in the recovery program I'm in, or girls that came to my comedy shows.
Is that what I need to do? Do I need to join AA? I don't even have a drinking problem, but I'll
That's
join AA.
not why
to get
you
some
join
pussy.
AA.
I'll go to get some pussy right now. Okay, everybody
got pussy in AA. Yeah, I'm
But it was
sober as
just,
fuck,
it was the
dude.
only 2 places I didn't do anything.
I haven't
else.
been, so maybe I need to
That's
open up.
so
my
funny. Dude,
Yeah,
there's
no.
cookies and pussy.
Hey, cooking, coffee, and pussy.
Oh my god, cookies.
Don't let me
Yeah.
show up and get 3
CCP.
numbers on my first AA meeting because I'll be like, I will be here next week.
No.
Oh my god.
No, it was.
It's actually been 3 weeks since
If
I
I
got
can
pussy.
say, it was always women that had strong sobriety. I wasn't like picking up girls.
No,
that were
yeah, I
in
didn't.
there.
Yeah. I didn't think that until what he said.
Yeah.
I didn't even
Yeah,
think that.
that's what I'm going to look for.
Right.
He's like,
Yeah.
You're weak? I'm your man.
Yeah.
You want to make another mistake?
But there were guys that would be like that, like, I'm take my number. I want to be there. I'll be there for you. If you feel like a drinking in the middle of the night, call me. I'll fuck you.
Yeah. Because being sober doesn't make you a good person.
Tell me I'm gonna have competition.
It really doesn't.
It does not at all. I don't know why people get that mixed up at all. Some of the worst people I know are sober.
Yeah,
They're really bad.
Yeah, it's almost, some people are better drunk or using drugs, because alcohol,
I know somebody like that.
Alcohol is the
and
the
you can't. And that's the
solution.
weirdest. You can't be honest about that. Be like, dude, we actually would prefer when you were on
I could
pills.
not tell her that. I was like, I loved you so much more when you were a wreck. Oh my God, she was so much fun.
Well, yeah, but also you can be a wreck sober. You're just a different type of wreck.
Yeah,
she found Jesus.
Oh, thank God.
That's the least. That's a bad.
Where
wreck.
was he hiding?
I don't know. Probably would have Osama bin Laden, because he'd been hiding out of her life for a while when she found him. But I was like,
Oh,
come
they
on
were
now.
both in caves.
Man, I'm never gonna get invited back to a church gig because of that line. And I laughed at it. Oh, I love it though.
You think
Okay.
Jesus got a lot of pussy? Oh, we have to go.
Yeah, we gotta wrap this up because we would do another hour.
Dude,
of
why do you
this.
think he's walking on water, dude?
Yeah,
He's
dude.
making us score.
He was walking on sunshine
Yeah, dude.
with all that pussy in his face.
I will be next week after I join AA, and I'll come back and tell y'all about it.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're getting out of here. Tell us where we can find you on social media.
It's at Bobby Jaycox and everything. BOBBYJAYCOX. I have a special out with Helium Studios. It's called Fast Food Fireworks, and I just shot a 10-minute thing with Nate Land Presents, and it's on Nate Bargatze's channel. So check that out. And I have a podcast called Discombobulated. You could be one of 27 people who listen to it. So that would be nice.
That's a dope.
Hell
dope.
yeah.
Send us all the information so we can post it at the bottom of the episode on here.
Yeah, hell yeah. Well, for sure. Thank you.
Jimmy, man, so this is Thanksgiving. Basically, it's November. I've been on this kick. I started today. I'm giving everybody shouts out. Gave you one, gave Justin one. Justin, I didn't even put his name because you know how he likes to stay hidden, and he don't want to be like, don't tag me, tag the Creek and the K Studios. So I didn't put him in there. I wrote his name and I said, still one of the kindest, nicest guys, makes us look like stars every week. I gave you one for doing this podcast with me. Seriously, I know it gets dark, but you seriously don't know how many people you bless sitting in that chair
Oh, wow.
talking about this.
I have fun listening to the podcast when you asked me to do it yesterday. I started, sincerely, it's fun to listen to. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Heck yeah, bro.
Yeah, no, I feel love even when I don't love myself.
As you
So
should.
lame. But yeah, no, I appreciate it.
Heck yeah, I just make sure. And also, I always have to give your sister a shout out because she is our biggest fan. Your sister loves this podcast.
Does she go to AA? Is she in AA?
Yeah, she looks happily married, but if she was in
Give your
AA, I know who
sister
your new brother-in-law would be. Yeah. I'm joking, lady. You look very happily married. I would never do that.
She loves black guys, so give it a
I
shot.
saw the kids.
No, I'm just kidding. Oh! No, they're step.
Oh, okay. I saw
but
the
anyway,
kids and I was like, I got a shot. No, man, I'm not a good
you
friend.
can find me on Instagram.
Yeah. Tell them the whole thing, Jimmy.
I don't know it. No,
Jimmy
it's
dot Moynihan?
Jimmy.Moynihan. Yeah.
And I'm at Coach Silky on Instagram. Also, find us at Pain Management Podcast.
Yeah.
And subscribe to us at Creek and the K Studios on
Yeah.
YouTube. Yeah, and you can find our show there and a lot of great podcasts there.
Hey, Bobby, thanks so much for going. Hold on. Hey, Bobby, thanks so much for coming on.
Can you cut that?
Thank you so much. You're amazing.
Dude,
Great
thank you for
guest.
having me on. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate
I'm so
you guys
glad
having me
you're
on.
here.
Thank
and,
you.
I'm so glad you're part of the scene now. It's so cool.
I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to, let's party tonight.
Hell yeah. All right.
go.
Give me your last question.
Oh, what makes you tick?
I'm trying to think of like a specific thing. And I promise it's not like me being like, nothing. I'm just like a bunch of shit makes me tick. I'm just trying to think of like the one thing. Yeah, pussy. Yeah. Oh my God, that'll make my tick hard. For sure. I honestly think it's just I feel like it's like when other people treat me, like when other people handle me. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's like, because we were talking a lot about stand up and hanging out. When I feel like people aren't like talking to me, like this was a great conversation.
Right.
Us all talking. But when I feel like someone's trying to in any way, like handle me or try to be like, no, like, or whatever, anything like that. It's like a huge ick when someone doesn't give me my space.
Yes.
Like that's
Yeah.
because that's something that I very much give her space. It doesn't mean anything. You can roast me. You can do whatever. It's
Yeah.
nothing about that. It's when you
I
can
know
tell
exactly
someone's
what
like
you mean.
handling you.
Yeah,
And I'm
I
like,
hate that.
I fucking,
Yeah,
no
yeah.
way. Yeah. So that's a huge
I
tick of
see
mine.
what you're doing. Please do it somewhere else.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because for me, it's a thing. I'm like, you could totally help that.
Yeah, 100%.
Clarify that question. What makes you tick? What drives you? Right?
Yeah.
What gets you up in the morning?
Yeah.
What keeps you going?
What ticks you off? That was even better though.
Oh yeah. Well, you were talking. This is just what I'm like. I don't know if this is the right answer, but it's what I'm gonna say because 2 days ago I woke up and I was doing a thing where I was just scrolling on Instagram, and then I started crying because there was this video of this guy. He was the first guy with cerebral palsy to summit El Capitan, which is in Yosemite. And I watched that video and it's just like got music behind it. It's like a prayer. And I'm like, oh, and that like got me.
Yeah.
But literally it's stuff like as simple as that. Like, cause like there's not like, for me, it's like I fight with that thing of trying to be like, fuck, I'm kind of depressed. I want to get out of bed. But it's whenever you realize like how lucky you are
yeah.
and that you could even control your happiness.
Uh-huh.
Like, dude, we were at the airport the other day and I just started crying. I was with the headliner. I was like, did you see that? She was like, what? I was like, that little girl that couldn't like really walk. And she was like, no. I was like, okay. So like that, and I know that's, I don't know, there's probably a word for that. It's not good that I'm like pitying them or whatever.
No.
But like that,
I think it's
just
cool that you're in touch with your emotional side. Though.
Thanks. I try to be. Yeah, I try to be. So
Yeah.
like that will get me out of bed. And then just also like I grew up religious and I'm not anymore, but like I can't fight this like spiritual feeling I have where like this is special.
Yeah.
And so it like a tick that I have that gets me out and kind of goes with other people. This seems so much like it could be heaven that why wouldn't you enjoy this? Like this
Yeah.
is so amazing and
I love
specific.
that.
So that kind of gets me out to be like, even if you're depressed, go be depressed by Lady Bird Lake. Like see what that feels like or whatever. So, and I'm not perfect with it, but I
Yeah.
do try like really hard. So that gets me up for
Love
sure.
Good answer,
Thanks for
dude.
clarifying. I like the answer.
Good
Thank
answer.
you.
Thank you guys. We'll see you next time. Bye. I have to pee so bad.
That's my tick. It's fine.
I have